welcome to the Carry My Heart podcast. I'm Carrie. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry at KECogan, and you can also find show notes for this episode just by searching on Ravelry under the groups tab. You can search the Carry My Heart podcast and you should find it, no problem. Hopefully I will be better this week about posting show notes. So last episode 11, I said I was going to post show notes, and then it was a week later and I realized I hadn't done it yet. And so if you looked for those and didn't find them, I'm sorry. I promise to do better about that for this episode. So I have lots of fun things to show you all. This past Monday, the 22nd, was my birthday. So I have some acquisitions, and I just took some birthday time to spend lots of time knitting. So I just have lots to show you all. So let's go ahead and dive right in. And the first thing I'm going to show you is my finished object. I have my socks. I have two of them. I am elated that these are finally done. I knit these using the vanilla sock pattern from the Knitmore Girls, which I found on Ravelry, and it was a great pattern. I found knitting my first pair of socks to be relatively painless, and I really credit that to the pattern itself because it was well written. There wasn't really any ambiguity about what I was supposed to do next, and so highly recommend the pattern if you are a first-time sock knitter or if you're just looking for a good vanilla sock formula. These were knit using 56 stitches. I think the next pair of socks I'm going to cast on 60 stitches instead. Not that these don't fit, but they're ever so slightly more snug than I would want them to be, so I just want to see if a 60 stitch sock will fit me better. And these are obviously my first pair and I'm super happy with them, but going forward I want to experiment a little bit and really sort of have my own sock recipe for my exact foot size. So really, really happy with these. These are my cat socks because the yarn kind of reminds me of a cat. I also call these my Daniel Striped Tiger socks. My favorite childhood show was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and during Make Believe there is a character called Daniel Striped Tiger, and it's pretty much exactly what these socks remind me of. So they're just a beautiful, soft orange. Come on, you can focus. Soft orange with bits of gray and black, and they're so pretty. Really, really thrilled with how these turned out. I love this yarn. My niece Natalie, she is 5 years old, and her orange cat is called Gus Gus, so she calls these my Gus Gus socks. So bottom line, they are cat socks through and through. But really happy with these. I love the yarn. This is Essential Fiber on the Essential Fingering base, which is 50% superwash merino, 50% tencel or tencel, however you say that, just like a synthetic similar to nylon. So perfect for making socks that are gonna last and be durable. And the first couple of yards, the yarn was kind of splitty, but it really improved after a couple rows, and I actually really enjoyed the yarn. So I would highly recommend it, especially for socks. Really soft, not scratchy at all. Finally woven my ends on these after I finished my second pair, and I can't wait to wear them. It's still incredibly humid and a bit warm here in Chicago, so it is not quite sock wearing weather, but looking forward to these, and hopefully I will have another pair done as well by the time that the cooler weather rolls around. Not that I'm hoping for it to come or anything. Definitely not. I could keep it summer forever if I was able to dictate what the weather would be. But such is life. I love Chicago. I love living in a city that very distinctly has 4 seasons. So having lived in Atlanta for the first 23 years of my life, Can't really say that Atlanta has much of a winter. So, I mean, it can get cold, but it doesn't get really cold. So that was my finished object, and I will show you my current work in progress. You've seen it before. If I can untangle the yarn. But this is my Wild Heart shawl, which is a pattern by Janina Callio, whose shawl patterns I absolutely love. I've made 2 of her Antarctic shawls before. Love, love, love. The patterns look really intricate, but they're actually incredibly simple, so it's great mindless knitting. And I really am thoroughly enjoying the pattern. So this lace panel, though, is kind of rippling a little bit, so I'm hoping that will sort itself out with blocking. But other than that, I love it. I am knitting this using Madeline Tosh Merino Light, which is the singles base, fingering weight singles. And it is so pretty. As you know, I love the color white, and then I can't get enough of those beautiful speckles. So thoroughly enjoying this yarn. My only complaint of it would be that the yarn has a tendency to twist onto itself a little bit, which doesn't make knitting it tricky, but you sort of have to straighten it out sort of as you go. But that's okay. Really love this yarn, especially as you will see later in the acquisition section. So I'm knitting these on my Knit Picks nickel interchangeables. I'm not sure what size this is. Kind of looks like a 7, but it might be a 6 or a 7, to be determined. So next I want to show you all something that I haven't shown you in a while, and that would be some spinning. So I think the reason I hadn't spun in a while is because the yarn that I had on my spindle, I wasn't overly excited about. And so I just kind of wanted to start over. But before I did that, I took the yarn that I had on my spindle off and I plied it. I have not soaked it yet, so the twist is not set at all whatsoever. So it doesn't really look the best at the moment. And, it's not perfect spinning. This is only the second hand spun that I have produced. But compared to my first hand spun, I think it looks amazing. So I wasn't totally in love with it. But now that I plied it together, it's actually kind of doing a cool gradient thing. So the yarn goes from, it sort of has, you can see if it'll focus, it has some white plied with yellow, and then it moves to this lilac color plied with yellow, and then it moves to the lilac plied with the maroon, and then just to the maroon. And so it kind of actually ended up doing this really cool gradient effect, which I'm highly thrilled with. I mean, like I said, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and it still needs soaked. The reason why I haven't soaked it yet, real talk, you guys. So I would do it in my sink, but my sink, while it has the illusion of being able to pull up the stopper and it plugs up, the water runs out after about 2 minutes. So that's not ideal for a yarn that I probably want to soak for a good 20 minutes or so. And then I would do it in my bathtub, but I need to clean my bathtub. So real talk, just haven't gotten around to it yet. Not that my bathtub is horribly dirty or anything, but it's dirty enough that I don't want to put my yarn in it. So I don't know if I'm actually going to use this yarn. I don't know what I would make with it. I didn't, like I said, I pulled this off the spindle before I would have normally. So I only have, I think maybe 80 or 90 yards. But of a worsted weight, it's pretty, I'd say it's a worsted weight. Of a worsted weight, that's not too bad actually. So I don't know, maybe I'll make a little hat for my niece Natalie, because she loves purple, or like a funky little cowl for her or something. Or maybe I won't do anything with it. I really don't know. So this is that. This is my hand spun that I got off my spindle. And then I started working on something else that I am far more in love with. Should have mentioned this. The fiber from the yarn I just showed you, and then this fiber as well, is from Vogue Fabrics. It is 100% merino top, and I am obsessed with this color. This is called their cranberry color, and then come in, you can focus. It just has like little strands of like a white and some blues in there, and it's gorgeous. So this is how it's spinning up. It's not focusing for you. Here we go. And it's so beautiful. I'm in love, and I'm really quite thrilled with how my spinning is improving. Really, really love the weight of singles that I'm getting. So for this, I actually, I had altered my spinning method before. I was doing like the park and draft method, and now I've been practicing like drafting and spinning while the spindle itself is still spinning, and it's giving me a much finer consistency yarn, which is what I want. So I have combined with what's on here right now, I have 2 ounces total of this to spin, and I'm really happy. I'm hoping that I can just spin through all of it, and it's going to be great. So I'm really, really hopeful for a great finished product, because I really want to use the finished outcome, the finished yarn from this. So I was planning on just spinning an ounce, caking it up, and then spinning the next ounce, and then I'll apply those together. So I'm really excited. Really, really thrilled with the color especially. It's so me, and it gets me really excited for autumn. So that's my spinning. I haven't shown spinning in quite some time, but like I said, I think it was just because I wasn't motivated to work on what I had on my spindle. So I think just accepting that it wasn't really me and then just starting over was a really good idea. So, and now I want to move on to some acquisitions, because I'm really excited about some of them, or all of them actually. I don't know why I'd only be excited about some of them, but like I said, it was my birthday, and the first thing I got in the mail from my future mother-in-law, David's mom, and she sent this beautiful sock yarn. This is from Lazy Bee Yarn, which is hand-dyed in Lincoln, Nebraska. She was there this past week visiting her mother-in-law, actually, and David's grandma. And actually for Labor Day, we're going to be visiting her as well, which is really exciting. But this is a 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, fingering weight yarn. Perfect for socks. It's actually already split into 2 skeins for it. Combined, it's a total of 480 yards, which is a lot. Actually, I forgot to show you, but my leftovers of my cat yarn, this is like 39 and a half, 40 grams, and technically I would have enough to make another sock, which would be a little silly. Who needs 3 socks? But this will be really fun to put into my Cozy Memories blanket, and then I'll have enough left over to do something else with it, or make it into more minis and send them off somewhere. So, but anyway, so 480 yards is a lot for socks. Maybe I'll make the leg longer or something, but this yarn is so beautiful, and actually it's a gradient yarn, and so it's going to go from like the lighter purple into the darker purple and then move into the blues. And so that's really exciting. And I love blue and purple. And so I'm really excited about these. They're very, very bright, bright and vibrant, which is not something that I would have picked up for myself. So I'm actually really, really excited from that perspective to have gotten this, because I think this is just enough outside of my color comfort zone that I'm really going to enjoy knitting these. So, and like I said, purple just makes me happy. So thrilled with this yarn. It's incredibly soft, and now that I've shown these to you, I think I'm going to cast on some socks today. So really excited. And then the other thing I want to show you is 3 beautiful skeins of yarn that I am utterly in love with. So for my birthday present from David, he took me to a local yarn store here in Chicago. It's called Knit One. And I love it. I loved this store. I'd never been to it before. And I cannot say enough good things about it. The store itself was so open and bright and beautiful, and the store owner was so lovely. Thoroughly enjoyed meeting her. And I don't know, sometimes you walk into yarn stores and they don't say anything to you, or sometimes they won't leave you alone, and both of those polar ends I'm not a fan of. But you know, she approached me, asked if I was looking for anything in particular. You know, I just said I was just going to be looking around, and that, you know, I'd ask her if I had any questions. And so that was great. That was just like a perfect amount of interaction, in my opinion. And so, and you know, I did ask her some questions, and she was so helpful. But anyways, so as a birthday present, David gave me a yarn budget, and I got to go crazy in the yarn store. So I picked up 3 beautiful skeins, and I'm obsessed. So obsessed. So the first one I'm going to show you is this beauty. Probably recognize it. I knew what it was the instant I saw it. So this is from the lovely Hedgehog Fibers. It's their sock yarn, and this is the Zephyr colorway, which just has the most amazing speckles. And this the sock yarn is 400 meters, 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon. And this is going to make the most lovely pair of socks. I'm so excited to finally have gotten my hands on some Hedgehog Fibers. I'm utterly obsessed with this colorway. I was debating between this colorway and the teacup colorway, which is quite similar. It's also just like a white base with speckles, but it's primarily just like a really hot pink speckles. And I mean, there's definitely some hot pink in here as well, but I thought this was perfect. Really, really excited about this. I think a couple months ago, I would never have picked up this colorway, but now I love it. I'm really into speckles these days. So I love the bits of blue and black and yellow. You guys, I'm in love. I officially have my first skein of Hedgehog Fibers, and while part of me wants to cast this on immediately, part of me just wants to snuggle with this at night. Okay, sorry about that. So my camera cut out unexpectedly, but like I was saying, Hedgehog Fibers. Yes. So excited to finally have some of this in my stash. Just utterly thrilled with it. So the next skein that I picked up was a special colorway that was dyed just for Knit One, the store. And this is from Mrs. Crosby Loves to Play yarn. Really, really love her label. If it'll focus. I don't know what it's trying to focus on right now, but hat with a little yarn ball on it, and then Mrs. Crosby yarns. And it's this beautiful, like soft blue with bits of yellow and teal in it. It is so lovely. So beautiful. And this is so incredibly soft. This is the train case colorway. This is 55%, excuse me, I'm sorry. This is not the train case colorway. This is the train case base. This is 55% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 30% Outlast viscose. So it's 425 yards, and it's beautiful. Like I said, the colorway is Knit One Lincoln for the yarn store itself, and this is beautiful. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's just so soft, and I love the colors that I couldn't resist it. And so, yeah, it's beautiful. I cannot stop looking at it, like this little bit right here. Just the blues and that yellow. I'm in love. If I could marry yarn, this would probably be the colorway. But it is so beautiful, and so I'm really, really excited about this. I think this was dyed up for the first week of August. Chicago has an annual yarn crawl, and unfortunately I was unable to participate in it because I was in Florida with my family, but I'm happy that I was able to snatch some of this up before it was gone. So really, really thrilled about it. It could be socks, but I think it would also be a beautiful shawl. I really just can't decide. I can't decide. I've never gotten this much beautiful yarn at once, and so I just can't decide. It makes me really happy nonetheless. So, and then as mentioned earlier, I also picked up another skein of Madeline Tosh Merino Light, and it's this gorgeous color. This is, I believe, the Sugar Plum colorway. Yes, it is. 100% merino wool. It's their singles, fingering weight yarn, 420 yards. Same as the yarn I'm using for my Wild Heart shawl. And I couldn't say no to this colorway. And so I'm thinking, how funny would it be if I used the Sugar Plum colorway to knit Mina's of the Knitting Expat her Sugar Plum shawl? Would that be too perfect or a little silly? I think it's beautiful though. And I think Mina's shawl pattern is beautiful. And so I actually kind of like that idea. Sugar Plum yarn for a Sugar Plum shawl. So those are the 3 yarns that I picked up. And actually the 3 of them together are beautiful. I don't think I would ever use the 3 of them for the same project, but if I was into that kind of thing, this might have been a match made in heaven. But I'm just really happy right now. I'm sorry. I am a little bit all over the place today. I obviously had a very enjoyable birthday. And so I love these yarns, and I love David for getting me yarn. It's just, this was the perfect gift for me to let me just run loose in a yarn shop and pick out what I want for myself was icing on top of a great birthday cake. So that's what I have to show you this week, and I am so thankful that you are here with me to watch, and you are here for my pseudo birthday episode. So, I mean, my birthday was a week ago, but I sort of unofficially celebrated my birthday for an entire week anyways. So thanks for being here today. I really, really appreciate you. And I can't wait to chat with you again next time. And hopefully I will have some new exciting things on the needles, because it's some really, really fun yarn that I picked up. So until then, hugs and kisses, lots of knitting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.